challenge for the Green Hornet. His aide, Cato, and their rolling arsenal, the Black Beauty.
I can't even imitate Albert. Jumbo, New Orleans' own Albert.
Really
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Boy, he could move those fingers, huh? And staying relevant in the 60s, that'd have to be a challenge. Rock and roll, electric guitar.
The Green Hornet.
Go, Al Hirt, go. Go, Al Hirt, go. New Orleans' own Al Hirt on the trumpet. It is indeed New Orleans. Corey Johnson back at you. Yeah, you right. A Monday afternoon. 2 big hours coming your way. Got a good one lined up for you, too, on this still hot Monday afternoon. We're getting out of the ridiculous summer. This morning was incredible. Like, I don't want to say a cool breeze blowing, but a not hot breeze blowing. And right now, this is kind of strange. It's because the humidity's so low. It almost doesn't seem mathematically possible. But the temperature in New Orleans is about 91. Feels like 89. I almost don't see how that's mathematically possible. Kind of reminds me of the bag of ice. Our ice stays frozen longer. How's that possible again? Anyway, 90, 91 degrees, but feels like 89 because check this out. 29% humidity out there right now. 29%. This could be a night where I guess if a television set is available because of your New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, sort of. I'll fill you in on the sort of part in a second. What a ripoff, NFL. Anyway, if you can find outdoor dining, you might be able to pull that gimmick off tonight. Seriously. I may have to drop the old coals tonight while the Saints are playing. Use the old pause on the remote control. Skip commercials. Oh, boy. Anyway, that low humidity is nice. This morning, it was really a wonderful morning. I know this is silly, but especially in the shade. Especially in the shade. It was just a nice breeze blowing. I was hanging out with some animals, the outdoor cat, the indoor and outdoor dog. Anyway. Still hot out there. You still need air conditioning. That means you still need River City's total maintenance, honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Really, what else do you need in an air conditioning outfit? I want one I can trust. I want one that knows what they're doing. And I want one that comes immediately because I need air conditioning help. NOLAAC.com is all you need to know. It's real easy. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com, River City's total maintenance, the air conditioning pros. Monday afternoon, I did mention tonight, ESPN, 6:15 kickoff, Monday Night Football, Saints at Carolina. Now, I was saying last week it's a 6:15 kickoff. Must be a doubleheader. Probably a West Coast game going off at 9:30. You know, but West Coast time would be 7:30. It's not a doubleheader like that. It's a doubleheader ripoff. The Saints aren't on Monday Night Football tonight. Standalone game of the week. I'm guessing that was last night's Sunday night game because it stood alone. The Saints kick off at 6:15 at Carolina. That's on ESPN. At 7:15, an hour later, like the Saints will be 8 minutes to go till halftime, 10 minutes to go till halftime. And on ABC, the Browns are at the Steelers. To me, that is just such a ripoff. You honestly can't be like, boy, the Saints got a Monday Night Football game. No, the Saints got half a Monday Night Football game. It's bad enough if it's a double header where they're not even overlapping, but it's 4 games being played on Monday night. You want to be the standalone with one other team. 30 NFL teams have played the final game of the week tonight. It's the final 2 games of the week tonight. And when the Saints finish, there'll still be another Monday Night Football game with a quarter to go. Utterly ridiculous. But blew me away when I found that out. I knew something was up with the 6:15 kickoff, but I assumed, and even said that last week, I'm assuming it's a doubleheader. I'm assuming there's a West Coast game that kicks off at 9:30, 10 o'clock our time, 8 p.m., 7:30 West Coast time. No. 6:15 on ESPN, Monday Night Football, sorta. Saints at Carolina. 7:15 on ABC, Monday Night Football, sorta. Browns at Steelers. I just don't like that one bit, NFL. Seriously. At least this week, yesterday's game, the Sunday night game, was the game of the week, the standalone game, the elite game, the number 1 game. Terrible. Can't believe there's overlapping Monday Night Football games now. Just waters down Monday Night Football, makes it a little less special. But I don't honestly give a you-know-what, because I'm not going to watch Browns at Steelers. I'm not even going to last channel Browns at Steelers. I'll be Saints at Carolina as a Saints fan, kicking off in a little over 2 hours from now. Hey, you still got time. 2 hours. Get to your Rouse's Markets and pick up all the supplies you need. Everything you need for tonight's Saints Monday night game. Doesn't matter. Drinks, food, snacks, barbecue grill, gas outfit to boil seafood, fry catfish, whatever you need, they've got it at your local neighborhood Rouse's Market, in your neighborhood, right next door to your neighborhood. 2 hours till kickoff. Plenty of time to get to your Rouse's Market for the Saints. Quality, selection, price, tastes like home. Saints kick off in a little over 2 hours. Plenty of time to get all the supplies, the goodies you need at your Rouse's Market. And I just mentioned the weather. Lower humidity. When that sun drops out the sky around 7:15 tonight, it could be really nice. Could be really nice outside. Chuck Schumer reveals this dress code on Capitol Hill, kind of rolls it back, at least on the House side. John Fetterman with the shorts and the hoodie, just absolutely ridiculous. I just don't get it. I mean, is that proper attire? You're a congressman, a senator. What are there? 535 of you? 435 congressmen and 100 senators? Seriously? Everybody wears a suit and tie, and get this, no suit and tie and tennis shoes. How about no rubber-soled shoes? Leather-soled shoes. You're at the Capitol representing the country. I don't get the casual Friday and wearing a suit and wearing tennis shoes. I don't get it. You better have some medical condition. Dude, I just had a corn cut off my foot. Dude, wear the Nikes. I hear you. Otherwise, put on a suit. You're representing the United States of America in D.C., on Capitol Hill. Now, John Fetterman looks like a dope. Long gym shorts and a hoodie. Big old goofy dude to begin with. Just looks utterly ridiculous. Hey, Michael Hecht is next. Oh, wait. Look what I looked at, Jason. What I'm looking at. Bad habit. The old one. Jeez, that clock's like in yesteryear. No, Michael Hecht is joining us next from Greater New Orleans Inc. He was out on Friday. Big news about Shell moving to the River District. Kind of a catch-22. They leave One Shell Square, Hancock Whitney now, to move to the River District. But a brand new office building being built, plus sort of a commitment to that neighborhood, an anchor to that neighborhood. Maybe that neighborhood's finally getting moving, getting going forward. Let's hope so. Michael Hecht will join us next to talk about that. Junket Cantrell, obviously aware of the council and the new ordinance law where they have to approve major appointees. Did that come into play with the mayor's choice of Kirkpatrick? And maybe more of a question, did Woodfork not have enough council votes to become chief, possibly? 6:15 kickoff, ESPN, Monday Night Football, sorta. Saints at Carolina. About 2 hours to kickoff. Since 1896, speaking of the Saints, you might be enjoying some Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company, over 125 years, part of the fabric of the community. Yeah, they've been at it, about 70 years before the Saints? Leidenheimer Baking Company. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer. For bread, Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504.
Glasses that everyone else is wearing. Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. And our staff are here to help you find exactly the Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years. The finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Take it like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right, Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" And he said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
They roll till 9:30 tonight. You can get a big to-go order to pick up from Lebanon's Cafe. They'll take care of you. Get a big tray of tabbouleh. Get a big tray of baba ganoush. Get a big tray of mujedra. Baba ganoush is it's just an interesting dish. It is basically ground up eggplant, would be baba ganoush. Hummus is ground up chickpeas. You know, you just sort of run like pita bread through that stuff with olive oil. Tabbouleh is parsley and some wheat and mint with some lemon and olive oil and a little salt, maybe tomatoes and cucumber, maybe. That's a great little light salad. Fried football kibbe, like a Lebanese meat pie. You can get all these sides in like a big tray form to go. Would be great for tonight's Saints game. Get some shish kebab platters. Those all come with a couple of Lebanese sides. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette. That phone number to fire in a big to-go order for tonight's Saints game, 862-6200. 862-6200. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette, right by the streetcar barn. Yeah, I don't get why Chuck Schumer would lower the dress code on Capitol Hill. John Fetterman needs to get rid of the hoodie and the shorts and put on a suit. Be professional. It's just so crazy I'm not a big fan of the casual Friday thing. And look, look how I'm dressed, casual, but I'm in talk radio television. One could argue I should have on a suit every day on the air since I'm on TV. But if you look at folks doing what I do, it's kind of a mixed bag as far as that's concerned. When it comes to Congress on Capitol Hill, everybody's wearing a suit for a reason. And I take it a step further. No tennis shoes with a suit. No rubber-soled shoes with a suit. I'm hardcore old school, by golly. Monday afternoon, what's going on? This guy usually joins us on Friday. He was taking care of business on Friday, and a big business announcement late last week. We had to bring him back today. We'll have him back on the program this Friday as well, but we've got Michael Hecht joining us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. on a Monday afternoon. What's happening, Michael?
Sorry, let me first say that I'm in violent agreement with you about uniform and dress code. There's a certain, it's about more than respect. It's about mindset. It's about seriousness, right? Do you really take your job seriously if you're wearing Skechers to the halls of Congress? It's a whole, I don't know. I'm with you. I'm an old fuddy-duddy on this one.
And I just think if you slap on the suit, you know you're fine. I mean, Fetterman has to walk out the door going, yeah, I'm going to catch a lot of crap for this. Yeah, it's not really the right attire. Yeah, I'm wearing a hoodie to Congress. And I just think it's like you're going to you're in like street clothes and you're going to a place that's a tuxedo party. You're going to get ostracized a little. Maybe you shouldn't go to the party or realize you're going to catch a lot of flack. I don't know. I just don't. I don't like it.
It's ignorant. It's like the first time Mark Zuckerberg wore a hoodie to go testify in Congress. He learned his lesson. Next time he wore a suit. I mean, I don't know.
Michael, look, you don't have to wear a suit to fly. It's not 1950. We all don't have to wear hats. It's not the 20s. I get it.
But at the same time, can we have a certain comment on athleisure wear while flying? I think I'm a pretty progressive, easy-minded type of guy. Live and let live. I'm kind of libertarian light, but I do feel that you shouldn't be wearing clothing on a flight that is anatomically detailed.
Anatomically detailed. Yeah, I don't. I'll just say this. I don't want to see your feet. Okay.
Oh, and God forbid if you ever put your feet up on the tray and start rubbing them, you're gonna get a Will Smith type beatdown.
I don't want to see. You know, I got what are those rainbow flip flops called? I forget. I got flip flops. I've had the Birkenstocks. I've got shoes that expose my feet. I wear them around New Orleans sometimes in a casual setting. I might wear them, to the beach. Flying with them. I don't get that. Tank top, sleeveless, cutting the sleeves off of the shirt and flying. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, but on to bigger news.
Yeah, let's get off this topic because I'll fade into golf course tennis attire, which drives me crazy too. Michael Hecht's with us. Hey, Michael, speaking of the suit and tie, that's the River District. It ain't no hoodie. It ain't shorts and flip-flops. It is unbelievable. I look at other cities like Austin and Nashville, and I don't get jealous or envious, but I get upset because of their growth. This River District, it looks like growth. It looks like transformational. The renderings are incredible. Tell us about maybe the first office tower since Benson Tower, CNG Tower was completed in 1990. That's the last office tower I can think of. This is going to be a mid-rise building and a headquarter for Shell, securing those Gulf of Mexico white-collar jobs. Fill us in on all this, Michael.
Corey, this is probably the biggest double economic development win in the past 10 years, maybe the biggest that I've been involved in, because it does two things. The first is that it ensures that there are 850 office jobs and thousands of offshore jobs that live in the region is going to stay in the region. And that's huge. And somebody said, well, it's kind of a push. I mean, it was just a retention deal. But no. I mean, if you were a betting person, people would have bet that those jobs would have slowly continued to leach over to Houston, and then one day they'd be gone like so many other of our energy companies. So this is a retention win in a very real way. This is 850 better than we thought we would be plus offshore. So that's the first one. The second is that because they're going to be going into a custom-built Ginsler architect designed 144,000 square foot state-of-the-art LEED certified first office building built in the city since 1989, right when 1990, when Dominion, which became Benson Tower, was built. It's jump-starting one of the most neighborhoods in the country, kind of like the Wharf in D.C. or the Seaport in Boston. And now we know we're going to keep Shell, and the River District is going to get built. Those are two big shots in each arm for New Orleans.
Yeah, I was calling it a save, like you brought Eckersley in there and you saved the day.
It's it's a lot of things, and look, a lot had to come together. But ultimately, you got to give credit to, I think, the two different parties, to Shell and Shell management, for having the open-mindedness to coming up with a situation that would allow them to make strategic sense of staying in New Orleans. And then to the folks at River District and Citadel, Lauricel Land Management and Citadel, for working with them to create exactly what they needed in order to stay and attract people to a new post-COVID office environment. So there are a lot of kudos to go around. Of course, everybody from the city and state, the legislature played their part, but there are no incentives involved in this. I mean, this is like a pure, on its face merit deal, and that's that's just the icing, on this big bundt cake of goodness.
Well, I will say this: thank goodness for the Hirstius woman who runs the Shell Golf operations. She is a native New Orleanian. She is wickedly smart. I mean, this girl is, and I say girl, she's probably 50 years old now, ridiculously smart, loyal to the city, has been all around the world working with Shell. It's not like she stayed here loyal, but has been elsewhere, but always New Orleans in her heart. Her parents are still here. So I think that helped tremendously. But this Hirstius girl is about the job and shell first and foremost. And if New Orleans wasn't that fit, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no, I think there's 2 points there. One is that Colette gets a ton of credit for this, no doubt. She is from the Bayou. Her dad was a council member in New Orleans. So there's a whole lot of
better than a council member. He was a council member and a lawyer who quit politics and lawyering when he was at his peak to become a child's poet, to teach children about poetry, writing poetry books for kids, and has been insanely successful. So better than that, left politics and lawyering to do something he loves. So no, go on though, Michael. It's a great story. Thank God for Colette.
Oh, it's a great story. And what's interesting is that, her brother, Rod, is actually a big activist and runs Together Louisiana, not a group that GNO Inc. always agrees with, but always somebody that we can talk with and somebody who's clearly also fiercely committed to Louisiana. So they were, very much part of this, but it also raises another point, which is a little bit of a more, a somber point, which is that had we not had somebody who understood how to make it work in Louisiana and was committed to Louisiana, this deal probably doesn't happen.
No, that's why I brought her up. Hey, Michael, hang on. Let's continue on that point right after this quick break. Michael Hecht's with us on a Monday.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Monday afternoon. Fausto's opens in 20 minutes. You can sit at the bar, check out tonight's Saints game on Monday Night Football, enjoy some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Fausto's Italian Bistro tonight for dinner from 5 to 9. Michael Hecht is with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. A huge save and more, really. Shell, at least 800 jobs, maybe closer to 1,000 white-collar jobs, taking up multiple floors of the old One Shell Square Hancock Whitney building, staying in the city, staying in the CBD. Going to build, essentially lease out a building built for them, about 140,000 square feet. One Shell Square, Michael, at one time was mostly Shell employees, like back in the early 70s. It's almost 1 million square feet in that building.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with, I guess, the multiple floors of Shell leaving, coupled with Jeff Landry, who was on the board, Harvey Marine going to the Galleria in Metairie. These sort of lateral moves they're a plus because we save the jobs, but there is a negative side where now you have this 1972 era office building, which I still think is grade A. I think it's still rated as grade A. You can have about a third of that building empty, right?
Yeah. So that's the downside of the story, or the negative side, because, there always are both, is that this is going to present, a real challenge to that property, the Hancock Whitney building, which is a beautiful, iconic, historic building, but it is over 50 years old now. And, what's happening there is similar to what's happening with a lot of big, older office buildings around the country and probably the world post-COVID. And so there is going to be a process of figuring out how to get new tenants in there. And it's a question of what happens to, most of Poydras Street, which was built during the 80s. And so, if not before. So, yeah, that is going to be a challenge. I don't want to downplay that. But, there was one person, a friend of mine, reached out to me and they said, Shell moving over to the River District is going to devastate Poydras Street. And I said, yeah, well, look, you basically had 2 potential outcomes here, right? Either Shell leaves Hancock Whitney building and goes to Houston, or Shell leaves the Hancock Whitney building and goes to a brand new office building, a half mile away in New Orleans.
That's anchoring a $500 million development that's been having trouble getting jump started.
Correct. So, those are the only 2 choices here, realistically. And so it's definitely the better of the 2. But, yeah, there are going to be headwinds, at least in the near term, for that beautiful building. And, but again, this is not unique to New Orleans by any stretch. I mean, if you think about everywhere post-COVID, but even other places, think about what Hudson Yards did to Midtown Manhattan. That's the same thing on a much bigger scale, with Hudson Yards being the equivalent of the River District and Midtown being Poydras and CBD.
Michael, is that building just how it is, how it's designed, the age, blah, blah, blah? Is it locked into continuing to be office space, or could there be a consolidation of offices in one part of the building, freeing up a, continuous amount of floors, 10, 20 floors in a row, where it's converted to a hotel or it's converted to condominiums?
I could see, I mean, I don't, you know, I actually have not talked to anybody yet about what will come of that. What I do know is that the building, besides being iconic and, in my opinion, very beautiful, and obviously very well located on the corner of St. Charles, if you go inside, because of the way it's constructed, the floor plates are very open. So you really have a lot of latitude about what you can do with those. You can have just massive open floor plates and very kind of office, you know, modern plans. Or I presume you could, you know, chop it up and use it in some type of hotel or residence or condominium type of structure. I mean, you still have Adams and Reese at the top, which has a major presence there. So I mean, it's not clear to me, but, you know, this creative adaptive reuse of office buildings is something that a lot of folks are engaging in. We've already had a lot of adaptive reuse of our older kind of pre-war buildings that have become a lot of condos and hotels.
Yep.
And this is kind of the next wave. I mean, this is nothing like the Plaza Tower problem, where you have a building that's been neglected for, you know, 25 years and now basically is unfortunately in teardown territory. One shell, like you said, is still a Class A office building, and folks just have to think creatively about how to manage it.
Yep. No, exactly. Or ideally have some major corporation that brings, you know, 500 jobs to the building.
Right. I mean, you know, we're talking to these companies all the time, and they can come in and be in an iconic building and probably get a heck of a deal, right?
Michael, I was talking to a buddy of mine just a little while ago about the River District. You know, that the announcement might have been made 3 years ago, like the first inkling of it. In Nashville or Austin, they'd already have the shell building built. There'd be people living in condos down there. I mean, yeah. I don't understand New Orleans. I mean, there's an old adage, and it is so true, because it's change is constantly happening. Anyone who doesn't know, change started when you joined me this segment, and things have changed up until right now, just a few minutes into this segment. Time kills deals. Time kills deals. Anyone that is in sales busts their rear end. You want to see the car? No, I'm bringing it to you right now. You want to check out the house? No, I got the keys. Meet me at the house right now. Because they know grandma could die. You could change your mind. Time kills deals. I just don't understand the city of New Orleans. Louis Larcella, a bunch of partners, they want to build a $500 million, you know, new neighborhood downtown, and there hadn't been a piling driven anywhere. No Topgolf, no soccer stadium, no shell building, no nothing. I mean, it's mind blowing. It really is.
Yeah, well, you know, it is it's a consequence of two things. One is just older cities have bureaucracies that are harder to move, and also have much more in the way of entrenched interests. And I guess that's related to the second issue, which is just culture. You know, it's a cultural issue about what is considered acceptable. You know, and we're in a place right now where when our garbage gets picked up, we text each other excitedly. You know, that is. I was talking to somebody, you know, from a different city who's, you know, a council member, and they're saying when folks' garbage is not picked up at the allotted hour, their phone is blowing up. And expectations, and you know, you're right. What I'm so thrilled about is I think this shell announcement now takes the River District from something that was an attractive idea that may or may not happen when we've been burned so many times before on big ideas. To now when we're like, oh, okay, you know, Shell's the 10th biggest company in the world. They don't go and make announcements willy-nilly. This is happening, and others are going to now come. In fact, my phone's already been ringing with people who are interested in maybe, you know, what are the other possibilities for them locating there. So it's, you know, the announcement was about Shell. Probably the bigger deal is what you said, which is the jump starting of a brand new neighborhood. And I'll leave you with this. I'm going to have to hop off, Corey. But when I made the announcement, when I spoke at it, I quoted my real crush at Tulane University, Richard Campanella, who has this great line. I've said it before in the show, I'm sure, which is that cities exist in dynamic equilibrium like a bicycle. Either they're moving and evolving and they're stable, or they stop moving and they wobble and fall over. And the River District means that New Orleans, despite the challenges on Poydras Street, is evolving, and that's healthy.
So the point of all that is New Orleans is the white bike chained to the pole on the side of the road. Is that what you're telling me?
No. New Orleans means that it is the bike, maybe with an inebriated driver, but still making it down the path.
It's wobbly. I like that. It's a wobbly, inebriated driver. He's sort of staying in the bicycle lane, and he's kind of moving forward, still staying upright. All right.
It's dynamic equilibrium. As long as you're moving, you're not going to fall over. So, and look, and by the way, in New Orleans, moving means pedaling on your own power because you don't get any downhills.
Yeah, no, and none of these motorized bikes either. You have to actually pedal.
Right. Real bikes for real men.
Yep. Not the white bike chained to the tree. I got you. All right. Miguel, I'll see you Friday. Congrats on the Shell deal.
Thank you, Corey. Big news. Thank you for giving me the chance to talk about it.
That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. That would be fantastic if that jumpstarts that River District neighborhood. That is a transformational project, something New Orleans desperately needs, something we desperately need. And about $500 million, about $500 million. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now for the Saints pregame party? Are you kidding me? All those big screen TVs, all that New Orleans food. A true taste of New Orleans, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, a great place to check out the Saints on Monday Night Football tonight at Carolina. Got everything you need. Drinks, food, great people, lots of big screen TVs. Katie's in Mid-City for tonight's Saints contest. Kickoff set for around 6:15, about an hour and 25 minutes away. It's getting closer. Check out the Saints at Katie's in Mid-City. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Speaking of Saints, another Martel Monday. Brett Martel will join us in the 5 o'clock power hour coming up. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning's been at it since 1940. If you're tired of your dry cleaner and you simply want to experience the best dry cleaner in the city and beyond, Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution. Find out more, youngsdrycleaning.com. Check out the best online. Sign up, youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center is open now. We do all makes and models, and it doesn't have Ford or whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet, under the most for your dollar. Our most perfect collision center, and it's 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. Harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoin.info.
09 Dave Miet, insagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, insagency.com.
Between Canal Boulevard and West End, Francesca Deli and
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
What actually? Lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Wiggle Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Clay. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 881 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto Italian Bistro on Vets.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What a ripoff. Saints are on Monday Night Football. Kinda. An hour into the Saints game, another Monday Night Football NFL contest kicks off up in Pittsburgh. How ridiculous is that? 6:15. I was wondering last week, when I saw the 6:15 kickoff, I assumed there was an NFL Monday night doubleheader. I'm like, I guess to start the season, there's going to be 2 Monday night games. Might be some West Coast game. Kicks off 10 o'clock, 9:45 West Coast time, which would be, 7:45, 8 o'clock Central, 6:45, 7 p.m. East Coast. That's what I'm thinking. That, you'll have 2 games separate and apart. The Saints game ends. Moments later, the Browns and Steelers kick off, or Saints game ends and then they switch over and it's, 14:30 left in the first quarter. The game just kicked off. Instead, it's 6:15 in about an hour and 20 minutes on ESPN, Monday Night Football. Saints at Carolina. An hour into the Saints game, like probably about 10 minutes or so to go till halftime, at 7:15 on ABC, the Browns are at the Steelers. That just blows me away that the Saints are on Monday Night Football and it's not a true standalone game. The first quarter will be, part of the second quarter will be, and that's it. And then when the Saints game ends, there's another quarter plus left of another Monday night game. Monday Night Football is supposed to be special. You're exclusive. You're standalone. At the worst, games are separated. I get it. First Monday night of the season, a doubleheader. And they overlap. Just doesn't seem right. The whole country, if you're watching NFL tonight, should be on Saints in Orlando. And if it's Browns and Steelers, it would be afterwards or before, but not at the same time for, 75% of each game. Just ridiculous. 6:15 kickoff, Saints at Carolina. 7:15 kickoff, Browns at Steelers. No, shame on the NFL. It's just not right. You're watering down Monday Night Football. You're making it, less of an exclusive thing, less of the, we earned a Monday Night Football game. And the elite game of the week, the standalone game of the week, I guess, was last night's game on NBC, Sunday Night Football. It stood alone. There was no competition. Saints have competition with the Browns and the Steelers. It's mind-blowing. You got competition with Major League Baseball or something, doesn't matter. But for the NFL just to kind of prostitute themselves out in a way, 2 Monday night games that overlap, not one starts after the other one's over is kind of crazy. We'll talk with Brett Martel about that in the 5 o'clock power hour. Another Martel Monday. LSU, 12th in the country. They're a big 18-point favorite over Arkansas. That's at Tiger Stadium, 6 o'clock kickoff Saturday night on ESPN. Also at 6 o'clock, Yeoman Stadium in Uptown, Nicholls State, they're 0-2. Tulane's 2-1. They're 32nd ranked. This is a preseason game. This is a game where Willie Fritz and a, kind of a seasoned Tulane team will get to play a bunch of true freshmen and players that haven't seen a lot of time. And that's going to help Tulane down the road when there are injuries and whatever, trying to give a guy a break late in the game. You can bring in a substitute that actually has had some playing time. A lot of Tulane players are going to see the field. I bet you 80 or 90 Tulane players will see the field against Nicholls State this weekend. And you probably get to rest Pratt, the quarterback, another week. Why play him? Kai, the backup, is doing a really good job right now for the Green Wave. Got to give Willie Fritz credit. I mean, backup QB depth. I mean, building a real program. And Troy Dannon and Tulane giving them what they need to win. Tulane's going to have an indoor practice facility, a bubble, right there, that little 80-yard practice field that sits right in front of the Riley Athletic Center, right next to that parking garage by some dorms. It's about a 80-yard practice field. I think it's on the Yeoman woman's name, whatever her name is. Barbara Yeoman, Janet Yeoman. That's the name of the little loop street that hooks into Ben Weiner or whatever. And from like Willow, it's like a little J, kind of goes up right in front of the Riley Center. There's a little 80-yard field where students play on it. They have intramural, soccer and flag football and stuff like that. Students kicking the soccer ball around, playing football out there, baseball, whatever, just messing around. That'll still happen. It'll just be an indoor bubble for the students. They'll go inside, out of the weather. It'll be 72 degrees, air conditioned. And then the football team will have priority use of that field, that bubble, when they need it. It could be instantaneously. There could be students on the field because Tulane's practicing at their practice field. Then all of a sudden some rain rolls in and Willie Fritz like, let's go, guys, indoor facility. Boom, all the students are out and they go in and use it. No, just perfect. Really putting money into the football program. The locker room, state of the art. Corey Johnson with you every weekday afternoon, 4 to 6 o'clock. A great alternative to sports talk on a bunch of stations. Real talk radio. It takes a while. I know. You got to sit through morning drive and midday and all that until I come on at 4 o'clock with some real talk radio. But I'm with you every weekday afternoon for 2 big hours. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. On the radio, 93.9 FM. Also on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. On TV till 5:30. The first 90 minutes of the 2-hour talk radio program. Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333. Blue Boy, he likes checking us out on YouTube. What's that, Blue Boy? Folks should click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Why, buddy? Because it's free and it's quality programming. I like that, Blue Boy. Blue Boy checking us out on YouTube. CareTalks.com live streaming. Don't move.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Ford F-150, number one seller in America. Let's see, what about the world? Who sells trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all of the time.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process, a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, the shop, we're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. We've got a friend in the jewelry business.
My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm paint decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best show your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint. And supply.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
I have breaking news. The Who Dat chant going to lead the dome tonight. It will be the Night Rider. I'm not kidding.
Does not exist.
I am kidding. Wow. Knight Rider. I never liked this program, but in Germany, the Knight Rider is a well-known rock musician. If you want to be nauseated before tonight's Saints game, Google or YouTube that David Hasselhoff singing in German. In Germany. And the crowd, the girls going crazy. It almost looks like it's make-believe. Like, is this a Hollywood movie? No, it's David Hasselhoff in Germany about 20 years ago, where he was a rock and roll legend. I know. Hard to believe. Your New Orleans Saints kick off in about an hour and 7 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. ESPN Monday Night Football. Sorta. What a rip-off. National Football League, I'm embarrassed for you. The doubleheader on Monday Night Football to start the season, not a big deal. Saints on Monday Night Football at 6:15. Browns and Steelers on Monday Night Football like at 9:30. Not a problem. Saints kicking off at 6:15. Browns at Steelers at 7:15 is a little bit of a problem. It takes away the special feeling, the uniqueness, the honor, the reward of being on Monday Night Football. The other 30 NFL teams have played already. There are only 2 teams that haven't played. They play on Monday Night Football. Okay, I get it. The doubleheader to start the season. At least have the games kick off at different times. I shouldn't say different times. Apart from each other, where they do not overlap at all. At all. 6:15 in a little over an hour on ESPN, Monday Night Football, Saints at Carolina. On ESPN2, it'll be the Manning boys doing Monday Night Football, Saints at Carolina. That's at 6:15. At 7:15 on ABC, Browns at Steelers. What the hell? Just insane. It really is. Mind-blowing to me. Monday Night Football is supposed to be special. Standalone game. Come on. Come on. And this isn't like the first Monday Night Football game of the season. It's the second Monday Night Football game of the season. So I don't get it personally. I mean, do I get the NFL and kind of whoring it out and making more money and more games? Yes, I get that. But to take away the specialness for the team, I don't know if the teams are going to like it. I know as a fan, I don't like it. I'm not going to be flip-flopping over to ABC and watching a minute of Browns and Steelers. Not a minute. No carpal tunnel, no last channel on the remote. I'm going to be locked and loaded. Remote's going to be on the table, not doing anything. I'm going to watch Saints at Carolina. But it just kind of blows me away that it's supposed to be a special Monday night game. I knew it. When it kicked off at 6:15, I assumed it was a doubleheader when I found that out last week, but I thought there would be the second game would be a West Coast game that kicks off like at 9:30 our time, like 3 hours and 15 minutes after the Saints. Hey, your final score, Saints 31, Carolina 28. Let's go now live to Pittsburgh, where the Browns and Steelers just started. That's right. Thanks for joining us. 14 minutes and 20 seconds. We're just underway. Browns at Steelers, something like that. Not 6:15 kickoff, Saints at Orlando. I mean, it's Saints at Carolina, Saints at Orlando. 6:15 kickoff, Saints at Carolina, and then 7:15 kickoff, Browns at Steelers. Just kind of a ripoff. I don't like that at all. I don't know why that. Well, I do know why. I keep saying that. I know why. More money. Just sucks. Watering down Monday Night Football. There are 4 teams that have games left to play, not just the Saints and Carolina. You got the Browns and Steelers too, and they start after the fact. Yeah, it's supposed to be the whole country that is an NFL fan watching Monday Night Football, watching your team. Now you're going to have half the country watching the Browns and Steelers. Brett Martel will join us in about 25 minutes. Another Martel Monday. Brett's been with the Associated Press for over 25 years. We'll get his take on that. Plus, Arkansas, LSU at Tiger Stadium Saturday night. Nicholls State and Tulane at Yeoman in Uptown Saturday night. All that kind of good stuff. Chuck Schumer reveals a new dress code on Capitol Hill, at least on the House side. Kind of makes it, not a requirement to wear a suit and tie. I don't get it. I really don't. It's this John Fetterman guy from Pennsylvania. Like him or not politically is irrelevant. I don't care if you like him or not. And I know folks that like him or dislike him. That's really important. No, it's not. Not in this instance. I don't care if it's a Democrat or a Republican, hyper left, hyper right, moderate, independent. John Fetterman wears a hoodie and shorts to the Capitol to work. I mean, if he wakes up in the morning and puts on that attire and doesn't realize it's not right, he shouldn't be there. And I know the folks in Pennsylvania voted him in. Then don't do it again, because it's just not professional. I don't care what his ideology is. Seriously, there's something mentally wrong with John Fetterman, and I'm not talking about stroke or depression, that he would wear that attire and think it's okay to go to Capitol Hill and represent the state of Pennsylvania in the United States Congress wearing a hoodie and shorts that you'd wear to the gym to go work out. I mean, besides being, he's a large guy. He's a monstrous sized guy. He's bald. He's not your average looking dude. He's sort of a strange looking dude. And that's fine. But then you're not even going to wear a suit. You're going to wear the hoodie and the shorts, tennis shoes, just doping around the Capitol like a goofball. No, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. John Fetterman with the shorts and the hoodie, and Chuck Schumer saying it's okay, saying you don't need to wear a suit. Look, I'm real old school, I guess. And look, I don't wear a suit on this show. I don't wear necessarily a button-down shirt on this program. But if you're a congressman, one of the 435 House reps, one of the 100 senators, and you're male, you should wear a suit and tie, no casual Friday, no rubber-soled shoes, no tennis shoes. The suit with the tennis shoes just doesn't work. I see J.P. Morrell, city councilman. I think it's ridiculous. He's wearing a nice suit from his ankles to the top of his head. He looks the part. And then you look down, he's got on like some high-top tennis shoes. And J.P. Morrell's like a 40-year-old man. That's his choice. Am I busting his chops on that? Yes. I'm not busting him personally. Had J.P. Morrell on the program last week. I'll have him on again. I don't like the white rubber, these sort of like half dress shoe, half tennis shoe look. Guy wearing a nice suit, and then he's got on these like brown shoes with the white rubber sole, or black shoes with the white rubber sole. Looks like tennis shoes. I just don't get it. The old school rule, and I know you go, God, Corey, that's way over the top. It's just how it is. If you're wearing a tie and a suit, you wear like a leather soled shoe. You don't wear a rubber soled shoe. You don't wear a loafer that's rubber soled if you have a tie on. And when you're representing the United States of America as a man, as a male, at Congress, as a senator or as a congressman, you should wear a suit and a tie and no rubber soled shoes and no casual Friday. None of that. And then the John Fetterman look, my God, might as well wear a barrel with shoulder straps. A barrel. A hoodie and gym shorts. Just looks ridiculous. How no one has given him crap about that? Like, I mean, I would have trouble working with him. Dude, we're at the Capitol. This is a distraction. How do you leave the house thinking this is okay? You're not going to the fast food place. Most restaurants, you can't even wear what you're wearing. You know? You wouldn't be allowed in most high-end restaurants for dinner wearing shorts and a hoodie in D.C. You're on Capitol Hill representing the state of Pennsylvania. It's embarrassing. And Chuck Schumer, hey, the dress code, let's, downplay it, is ridiculous. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood. Radio, TV, live streaming. It's all brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
I'm talking about this attire stuff and no tennis shoes with a suit. I go in the green room, Jason. I go on Twitter. Fletcher has a tweet. It's got him and Jim Moore on the set, and Moore is in a suit wearing tennis shoes. And Moore is like 88. I mean, could probably still beat my ass. So I'm not going to tell Jim Moore a damn thing. Then at Carolina, you've got, I guess it's Sharif Ishaq wearing like a pastel suit with no socks and like the tennis shoe type things. And then Lance Moore is wearing a suit with short pants. I'm assuming he just, hey, Taylor, turn these pants into shorts. There's no way that suit is real. Anyway, I tweeted kind of how ridiculous that suit is, and maybe they could shoot Lance Moore knees up. And I also said on my tweet, Jason, I'm 5'7", $165. I get abused wearing that outfit. You have to be a minimum of Lance Moore's size not to catch crap wearing that. I got a buddy of mine, Jason. He's like Fetterman size. He's like 6'3", like 280. He'll wear pink shorts with topsiders with the socks pulled up to his knees. No problem, because he's a monster. You or I, our size, wear that, people are going to wreck the car going over the curb to run us over. They're going to be, look at these guys. Hey, girls, how's it going? You know? Hey, you guys are dressed up as 8-year-olds. That's nice. No, when you're 5'7", 165, you can't wear pink shorts with little whales on them with socks pulled up to your knees and topsiders like on the dock. But when you're my buddy's size and you're a big old monster, you can wear whatever you want. And no one's going, God, it looks ridiculous. The bigger you are, the more ridiculous clothing you can wear. Anyway, I'm sure Lance Moore is going to lash out at me on Twitter. Mind your own business, bro. Anyway. Yeah, Chuck Schumer dropping the dress code on Capitol Hill because basically John Fetterman wants to wear a hoodie and shorts. Unbelievable. I just don't get it. Thank God Fetterman's white. Could you imagine me be busting on some congressman who's black wearing a hoodie and shorts? It would be I'm racist. Why are you going after the guy because he's wearing a hoodie and shorts? You're not going after anyone else. Fetterman's just a big old dude, kind of goofy, I'm not going to say uncomfortable in his own skin, just kind of a big old dude, almost like so big, like, he's like, did he athletically grow into his body or not? And he's a giant of a guy. And then he wears these huge sweatshirts, these hoodies and shorts to Congress, to work on Capitol Hill. He'll be at the dais speaking, and there'll be like 2 senators or congressmen behind him on each side, and they're wearing suits and ties. Regular outfit. They look like congressmen. Fetterman looks like, who's this guy you brought in off the street to testify about something? If it's about his mental health issues or having a stroke and he's not a congressman and he's testifying and he's wearing the hoodie and the shorts, I could give a crap. But he's a congressman, and I don't care if he's a liberal or a conservative, a Democrat or a Republican. I don't care about his political ideology. Don't care if he's extreme or moderate or independent. Just it's the United States Congress. You're representing the United States around the world. And folks on TV have access to this more than ever around the world. And Fetterman's up there in a sweatshirt and shorts, and that's our guy. It's America. No, on the Hill in D.C., no casual Friday, suit and tie every day, no rubber-soled shoes, no tennis shoes with the suit, no rubber-soled shoes with the suit. I don't get it. Jim Moore is 88. Put on tennis shoes. I get it. You got some bunion, foot surgery. Yeah, bring a doctor's note. Wear the tennis shoes. Otherwise, come on. Show some respect. I just can't get over you walk out the door like that and you're going to work at Congress. There's got to be something mentally wrong with you if you think that's okay to go to Capitol Hill, D.C., and kind of for the first time in the history of our country, you got this guy who just doesn't wear a suit and tie and wears a hoodie, a sweatshirt, and shorts and tennis shoes to work, voting on TV, just insane. And Chuck Schumer placates and appeases him, which is even more insane. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Boebert's dress at the, whatever that Beetlejuice play in Denver. Boebert's dress at the Beetlejuice play in Denver, almost more appropriate as a female member of Congress than John Fetterman's hoodie. I'm serious. Now, it is an insane cocktail dress. It's cut too low. It wouldn't be appropriate attire at Congress. But it's a dress. It's a dress. I'm not saying it's appropriate attire, but it's almost more appropriate than Fetterman. Just crazy. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. No, that's why people wear uniforms and whatever, to identify them, to stand out, to you know, they do that job, respect for that job. It just, it all that, you know, comes into play. Can John Fetterman, can anyone do a better job because they're wearing a suit and tie? No, it has nothing to do with doing a better job or ideology, or I don't like the other person's ideology, or I don't like Fetterman. It has nothing to do with if you like him or not, or prefer someone else better or not. Nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with effectiveness of job. Although indirectly, I think it does have a lot to do with the effectiveness of the job. I just meant personally for that person in their office, dressed like that, doing what they would be doing in a suit, no one else around, it doesn't affect their job. Junket Cantrell, obviously aware that the council has to approve for appointees. Did that come into play with the Ann Kirkpatrick choice for police chief? Did that mean Woodfork would not have had enough council votes to become chief? Woodfork has been a captain just recently, has never run any of the district stations, never was a district commander. So it was a jump. The group that went through the process of interviewing and putting the finalists together suggested Woodfork could use a little more seasoning in that department, as like running a district before you're going to make her chief. I think Michelle Woodfork is very competent. I think she's a good person. I think she means well and probably could do the job. I just think she may not have had enough council votes. There would be scrutinization of her lack of time commanding or no time commanding anyone. So that might have been hard maybe for her to get the 4 votes. Trying to think of the 7, which 4 would vote against her. Maybe J.P. Morrell, maybe Helena Moreno, maybe Joe Giarrusso. After that, it gets a little tougher. Maybe Freddie King, maybe not. Maybe Leslie Harris, maybe not. Those 3 I could see. A 4th seems like it'd be, I guess, a 50-50 that Woodfork would get in. A 50-50. You're probably going to get Eugene Green and Oliver Thomas. They voted with the mayor. Then you need 2 more. Are you going to get Freddie King? Wild card. He votes both ways. Voted with the mayor on one thing, voted to oust her out of the Pontalba. And Leslie Harris has mostly been voting against the mayor. So maybe Woodfork didn't have the 4 votes. Simple as that. Maybe didn't have the 4 votes. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Hey, Helm Paint and Decorating's been with you for over half a century, over 50 years. There were 7 Helm Paint and Decorating locations. Now there are 8. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. The 8th Helm Paint and Decorating location in Baton Rouge, Highland Road, Perkins Road exit. That's exit 166 off the I-10, right across from the Home Depot. An 8th location of Helm Paint and Decorating, their first location in Baton Rouge, and I got a feeling it's not going to be their only one. But it doesn't matter where you live in Baton Rouge. Corey, I'm nowhere near exit 166. I'm by LSU. Corey, I'm up by Choctaw. Corey, I'm up in Scotlandville. Corey, I'm up on the bluff by Southern. I'm miles away from that 8th Helm Paint and Decorating Baton Rouge location. That's all right. Go online, pick your Benjamin Moore colors online. Call the Baton Rouge Helm Paint and Decorating location. They'll bring the paint, all the supplies directly to you anywhere in Metro Baton Rouge. You folks over in Port Allen, Bruley on the West Bank, anywhere in Metro Baton Rouge within 2 hours. You can't beat Helm Paint and Decorating. They've been at it, like I said, for over 50 years in Metro New Orleans, now entering Baton Rouge. They'll soon be Baton Rouge's paint store. Yeah, when you got to paint in Metro New Orleans and now Metro Baton Rouge, do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Michael Hecht joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. He couldn't join us on Friday. Joined us today because of the save. We talk about home runs and triples and doubles and singles. A single might be 8, 10 jobs. A double might be 25 or 30 jobs. A triple might be 75 jobs. A home run could be north of 100. A grand slam, like 500 plus, 1,000 jobs. Grand slam home run. This is a great save. Shell, 800 white-collar jobs. Their Gulf of Mexico operations. They could have left for Houston. Instead, they're moving just across the city from Poydras Street to the new River District in a brand new building in a few years. So saving those 800 plus white collar jobs. And I mentioned Colette Hirstius to Michael Hecht in the 4 o'clock hour. No, thank God the Gulf operations are run by this very smart girl, this woman who is a native New Orleanian, just ridiculously smart and savvy and cares about the city. She cares about Shell and their what her job is there first. But I think all things equal, or if New Orleans has the edge, she's definitely going to stay with New Orleans. And that's what happened. So Colette Hirstius, remember her, she runs the Gulf operations for Shell, a native New Orleanian that's lived all around the world working for Shell. Those jobs could have easily gone to Houston. So that was a major save, coupled with the fact it might jumpstart the River District finally. We've been talking about this River District, this new $500 million plus neighborhood where people will live, work, play, everything in one place, right on the Mississippi River, as nice as it gets. In between the Crescent City connection, the convention center, and that power plant, the abandoned Entergy power plant. That huge space of land will soon become a neighborhood over the next few years. Now, that project has been bogged down for the last few years. Typical New Orleans BS nonsense. This Shell, a Fortune 500, hey, we're going to move and stay in New Orleans. It jumpstarts that project. It gets that project going. Gets the bureaucracy and the red tape, little major scissors cutting through that. So that's good news. That's really good news. Hey, Brett Martell's going to join us in a second. He's with the Associated Press, joining us on a Monday. Saints kickoff, Monday Night Football at Carolina. That kickoff set for about 6:15 or about 40 minutes away. About 40 minutes away. Hey, I mentioned Michael Hecht joining us a few minutes ago. He'll join us again on Friday. That Friday segment always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant Latrim, and they're hiring a culture of innovation at Latrim, and they're looking for you. Are you looking for a job, a new career? Go to Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. And it's not 2 or 3 job openings. It's dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings at Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Check them out. Latrim.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt to improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time. And our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have the guys who really have a burning desire to get quality education and also be a great football player. You got to have both.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. We just a dime for a person who came up to me after game. I had tickets in the old Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And then, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll wave.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. A Monday afternoon edition of the program in about 33 minutes or so. Your New Orleans Saints kick off on Monday Night Football, sorta. I swear, Brett Martel, I try to stay positive. I'm not looking for negative stuff. I'm not trying to be cynical or jaded. The opposite. I think I'm a pretty positive dude. But this ESPN 6:15 kickoff for the Saints, 7:15 ABC Browns at Steelers. What a ripoff. Monday Night Football is supposed to be something special, standalone. You earn the Monday night game. They're expecting you to have a good team this year. How many primetime games, etc. Standalone. The whole country watching that single game. Instead, an hour later, Brett, at 7:15 on ABC, it's Browns at Steelers. Last week when I saw the 6:15 kickoff, I assumed it was a doubleheader. I figured it'd be a West Coast game that starts at 10 p.m. after the Saints. What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, early in the season, they kind of stack them like this. It's not going to be like that all year.
Have they ever done this before where they overlap?
If I recall, they have, but it's not frequently done, maybe just early on in the season.
I mean, Brett, this means last night's Sunday night game, that was the elite prime time NFL contest of the week. That was the standalone game where football fans around America, that's the only standalone game they could watch. I think it kind of waters down the Saints tonight on Monday Night Football a little bit. Now, look, I'm watching Saints. I'm not watching Browns at Steelers. But the whole country should be watching Saints at Carolina if you're watching football. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why they would overlap them and not separate them if you're going to do a doubleheader.
Well, that would be better, I guess. But, they're trying to maximize the number of primetime games, I guess, for the networks who paid a lot of money for those games. And so it's arguably better for the networks to have an additional primetime game, even if it overlaps, than to have one less, because it's not competing with as many games as it would be on a Sunday in the afternoon.
No, I get it. It's all about the green stuff, and the NFL knows how to make the green stuff. I mean, you could argue they're the most successful professional sports league in the world. The more it's successful, more profitable. The teams have more value than the Premier Soccer League. So they know what they're doing in the NFL. That's why Goodell makes, $100,000 a day, north of $100,000 a day. I just, Monday Night Football has always been something special. And this just sort of bummed me out that the Saints, they earned the Monday night game and they're sharing it with another couple of teams.
Well, you think they earned the Monday night game?
Yeah, because the people that pick them, they got 2 Thursday nights, they got a Monday night. I don't pick them. So I assume based off of what, the ABC, ESPN, Disney, they're in it for money like the Vegas boys, Brett. They don't want to put duds out there. They don't want to put, lame games out there that don't pull ratings. Maybe that's why they put the Browns and Steelers with Saints and Carolina, because they were unsure of maybe all 4 of these teams and their success this year. They're guaranteeing themselves at least one good game. I don't know what they're thinking, but I think indirectly the teams earn the Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night games based off of quality of what they were the year before, the previous years, what they could be this year, expectations, all of that. They don't want to put lousy teams on prime time. The best teams are on prime time usually, right? I mean, they don't always get it right. It's not a perfect science, but usually.
Usually, yeah. But I mean, the Saints were 7-10 and missed the playoffs last year, you know. And Carolina wasn't very good either. I think the thing with this is that more so than how the teams did last year is that you have, you know, interesting storylines on both teams with Bryce Young being the quarterback, you know, top draft pick for Carolina, and, you know, the Saints early on in the Derek Carr era. And so, you know, people are curious to see what the potential is of these teams. But, you know, look, it's all speculative on my part. I mean, I haven't reported on why these decisions were made by the networks. But you know, I can see a little bit of hedging here. So, you know, that's just me, though.
What are you expecting in about 25 minutes, Brett?
In terms of tonight's game, you mean?
Yep.
Well, hard to know. I mean, the Saints very easily could have been 0-1, right? I mean, they won by 1 point, and Ryan Tannehill missed some open downfield throws where the defense, which played well for most of the game, did have a couple of busts and weren't punished for it. The offense, you know, sputtered a lot. Was good when it had to be, and better in the second half. But it's hard to know. I mean, it's early. You know, you'd think that the Saints would win this game comfortably just because Bryce Young didn't have a pass, I think, longer than 14 yards last week. As good as he may be eventually, he's still really early in his career. And the Saints have a pretty good secondary, and we're a top 5 defense last year. So you would think it'd be a mighty struggle for the Carolina offense, especially without, without Christian McCaffrey, who was traded last year.
Do you think the NFL people were thinking more Bryce Young or Andy Dalton playing against his former team and Carr as the new QB?
I think they were thinking more Bryce Young.
Yeah, I thought Dalton would start for Carolina and Bryce Young would come in and eventually take over that role. That's what I thought was going to go down, Brett. But obviously, NFL does this a lot now. Toss the rookie into the fire right away.
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. But if you think your team is not really, if you think your team is rebuilding anyway, that's when you play the rookie, maybe, because you may be losing on the score line, but you're winning in terms of accelerating the development of the franchise quarterback.
I guess so. I thought with Dalton, maybe you can win a little bit. He's probably like a top 25 quarterback in the NFL still. And then you slowly bring in Bryce Young. But I guess every time Bryce Young goes to the sideline, Andy Dalton's right there feeding him information.
Yeah, I mean, there could be some value to Bryce Young sitting and watching, like they used to do it, like Aaron Rodgers did up behind Brett Favre. But this I guess what do they say? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yep.
So
Brett Martel's with us. Another Martel Monday. Brett, defense for the Saints seems to be pretty damn stout. And it looks like that's going to continue all season long, barring any injuries. Offense is the whole key. At least you have some hope. Derek Carr's only played 1 game in a Saints uniform. As he gets more familiar with the offense, I mean, there's a hope, like where you could see a dramatic improvement potentially in the offense.
I think the 2 reasons why they might improve a lot is what you just mentioned with Derek Carr getting more familiar, but also they need Trevor Penning to improve as a left tackle, which you would expect him to do. I mean, he really is almost like still a rookie because of his injury last year that kept him out for, I think 11 games. And the hardest thing to learn for some of these guys coming out of, college is pass protecting in the NFL. And that's, he's good at run blocking. He's still got.
This is another thing like Bryce Young in the modern NFL. I mean, why wouldn't you put Ryan Ramczyk at left tackle and put Penning at right tackle? Why would the Saints not do that right away? You can always switch them later. Ryan Ramczyk's a mauler. He's one of the best tackles in football. Put him on the left side. I don't get that. I don't get that move at all.
Well, you may just have to deal with Ramczyk's general health, and feeling like he's going to be more effective where he's comfortable. Ramczyk doesn't even practice on Wednesdays. He gets like a veteran day off. They're trying to give him an extra day every week to recuperate. Just manage his health as best they can. So,
I guess prolong his career at right tackle compared to left, but he could play left easily and be dominant. And you have this other kid learning at the right side with not as much pressure. I mean, what are the positions in football that are most important? Quarterback, defensive end. That would probably be number 2. And then it's kind of a crapshoot from there. Could be cornerback or left tackle, not right tackle. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, right tackle is important if you have a left-handed quarterback. I mean, it's really
right.
The key is that you want your best tackle on whatever side the quarterback can't see on. If he's facing, when Ryan Ramczyk gets beaten a lot of times, Kaare might see that earlier than he would when Penning gets beaten, and he's got his back to that part of the field. So, I guess it's worth, asking because I suppose to some extent you're right. I mean, I think, we go and cover this team, we just give the coaches the benefit of the doubt. We don't think to have, well, why isn't Ramczyk playing on the left side? So it would be worth asking, especially if Penning continues to struggle. But if he doesn't, then there's obviously wisdom to leaving Ramczyk on where he's comfortable and where he's been comfortable for a while.
Yep.
And letting Penning, who's the younger, healthier guy, continue to develop on the blind side.
Brett Martel's with us. Another Martel Monday. Hey, Brett, before we jump over to LSU and Tulane real quick, how can folks check out your stuff via the AP?
Sure, the AP News app on a smartphone is one of the easier ways and more convenient ways, especially while you're waiting in line or on the streetcar, in the airport reading. It's free and it gives you news from all over the world, not just sports. On a computer, it's apnews.com.
Brett, did you make it to Baton Rouge today?
I did. I'm driving back from there now.
What took place? What did Brian Kelly have to say after LSU's dominating win over Mississippi State?
Yeah, he said that a couple interesting things. I mean, I asked him, there are a lot of instances of really great teams that stumbled out of the gate and then kind of figured it out as the season wore on and became very formidable later. You could argue that even last year's LSU team was kind of like that.
Exactly.
And I asked Kelly, if he had any particular memories of coaching teams like that, if this could be one of them, what was instructive about those past experiences. And he just said, he didn't really answer that directly, but he said that he essentially felt like he tried to foreshadow that it could be bumpy for LSU early on because he would always mention that there were 14 transfer players and a bunch of true freshmen that were going to have to play either as starters or regular reserves. And then most of the teams he's coached, you're trying to figure out the formula and you have to kind of remix it a little bit during the season before you really get to the optimum level of performance. But he sounded confident, and we'll see. I mean, he sounded confident in August too,
Yep.
But we'll see. He's not confident that the way they played at Mississippi State is the way that they're capable of playing going forward. And they're having that identity. He seems to believe that the experience of getting rolled, I should say, the second half in Orlando against the Seminoles really, kind of woke up some guys as to, not just the focus they have to have, the attention to detail during the week, but the kind of, being able to approach that edge of nastiness and meanness in the field without going over the line and, the dirty play and flags and stuff like that. But, kind of help them understand that they have to be really just more ferocious, have a more competitive edge, and combine that with intelligence, attention to detail. And he, look, it was really impressive. Will Rogers is on pace to maybe set an all-time SEC passing record. I think that's 2,000 more yards. And he had 103 against LSU and was well below 50% completion rate. So it was a good performance by the defense with 4 sacks, including one by Harold Perkins. But it was an amazing performance by Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors.
Brett Martel's with us from the Associated Press. Hey, Brett, I liked what Brian Kelly said last week. I think a lot of expectations this year, looking back, were a little unrealistic. This LSU team is still in a building mode. They were a 500 ball club 2 years in a row before Brian Kelly came. They had 38 scholarship players. I know the success he's had in recruiting, and I know the success he's had in the transfer portal. That's why LSU is viable and winning. But to expect LSU to be at like that Georgia level already, I think that's definitely premature. And I'm not saying Brian Kelly or LSU fans or players thought that. But what Kelly said last week is we need to, play a bunch of players. We need to get players that don't have a lot of experience in, and we need to build those players up and build the team up. That was sort of the mentality last year. This year, coming into the season, it was almost like, hey, it's sort of a seasoned team. We got Jaden Daniels coming back at quarterback. We got some Perkins coming back. It's almost acting like it's a seasoned team. I still think there are way too many new faces in new places, and you got to take it one game at a time. You're still building. You haven't arrived yet, and I think he made that point last week.
Yeah, he did, and maybe it sounds a little bit like he's sick of that narrative that, the baseball and basketball coach won national titles in the second season, and now he should do it too. But, football is a different sport, and there are a lot of new guys. Some of them are transfers that you should be able to plug them in, and they should know what they're doing pretty quickly.
Yep.
But some of them are young players, and then it's just a matter of how the chemistry develops, and the extent to which guys get comfortable playing alongside and trusting one another.
Yep.
But it certainly looked like just a much higher trust level and guys knowing where to be.
I think the mentality of guys, we haven't done anything yet, is the mentality, not we've arrived. We had 10 wins last year. Hey, Brett, literally about 15 seconds. Tulane gets to play a lot of freshmen and players that don't see a lot of time. This will help later in the season. I bet you 80, 90 players play this weekend for Tulane.
Yeah, very possible against Nicholls State, but they absolutely have to get a big lead before they can do that. They need to make sure they win. And Nicholls State is a pretty good FCS-level team. But look, Tulane last week was a great week for Tulane. They won on the road.
Yep.
They won big. Ole Miss won big against the major opponents. That tells you how good Tulane really is.
There's Blue Boy. Hey, Brett, always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
You got it.
That's Brett Martel from the Associated Press. That's Blue Boy. Enjoy the Saints. See you mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.